Hey guys, Brian Barrera here, CEO LC Innovation. I know you're probably thinking, what the heck was he thinking doing three 15-minute videos on the GOAT debate for NBA, for best NBA basketball player of all time, the greatest of all time? What was he thinking doing the Academy Awards, the Oscars, the comparison? How does it all intertwine with the Employee of the Month and Employee of the Year? Well, I'm going to tell you how. It just does. It does because we don't recognize the right people when we're supposed to. We don't. We worry too much about upsetting other people. That's what participation awards are for. I think we should do that. But if we were so worried about giving credentials to the right people or giving them, like, why do we give ourselves titles then? Why do we give ourselves a CEO title? Why do we like to walk around like we're the owner? Why do we tell people we're the owner? Why do we act that way? Why do we call ourselves, VP of global solutions, VP of global supply chain? Why do we give ourselves titles? But when it comes to our subordinates and we need to do an employee of the month, we don't do it. We don't want to upset people, right? We don't want to give too much recognition. We don't want to keep giving them that award, right? But we have to. We have to because that's the standard of excellence that you're making. And if you are upset that the same person keeps winning it, maybe switch departments, maybe move it around. So what does that have to do with the Academy Awards, the Oscars? Same thing. Same thing as an employee who doesn't get enough recognition, an employee that's obviously been the best employee for the last 10 years. They've only won Employee of the Month once because you don't want to upset other people. That's exactly what I'm talking about. The Academy Awards, they keep snubbing people left and right. I stopped watching 6, 7 years ago because I got tired of the people that should have won not winning, right? And then I got tired of seeing all these movies winning all these awards, and then later on, you don't hear nothing about those movies. No one's really seen them. They weren't timeless classics. They weren't, and that's what keeps happening is that we're not. We don't recognize people when we're supposed to. The NBA, it's all online right now. Everyone's talking about who the best players is. It Jordan or is it LeBron? Then you get people like me who, when we throw Kobe into the mix, we're then told that, oh, well, you're just showing favoritism because there's no way Kobe's on that list. I beg to differ. He's won 5 championships. He went to the NBA Finals, what, 7 times? In 2004, he went, lost to the Pistons. Then he lost again to the Celtics in 2008. So, yeah, 7 times he's been to the NBA Finals. He's won the NBA Finals twice. Some people even said recently that Paul Gasol should have won. But if you notice, Kobe ended up grabbing 16 rebounds in that game 7 in 2010 because they were losing the rebounding battle. So he knew he had a rebound in order to win. I mean, it's just the amount of stuff, the amount of hate that Kobe gets, it's insane. You ask NBA basketball players, if you ask them who should have, who's your top three is, they'll tell you Kobe's in there. Kevin Durant even said Jordan's 1A and Kobe's 1B. These basketball players, they all put him up there, but we don't talk about it because we gave the wrong awards out, right? We give the wrong awards out. We don't give it to the right people because we don't want to upset other people. We don't, or worse than that, we don't want that one person who wins it multiple times to get conceited or to get a big head. We don't want them to feel that way, but they deserve it. That's the whole point. And they should be that standard of excellence, and the other teammates should be striving to get to that level. Or, like I said, switch it around from department to department. But we don't do that. We don't do that. And I wanted to give cool, fun examples like the Academy Awards and the GOAT debate. I wanted to give fun examples because I want to get your attention. I want you to have some fun while you're looking at this and be like, yeah, you're right. Like, we do keep snubbing people like the Academy Awards does. We do keep snubbing people. But here's what happens. Sometimes out there in the field, when we snub our employees so much, they leave. They go somewhere else where they feel wanted, right? And then we throw around, like, we move the goalposts, like I said earlier, right? We then, when we do promotions, we then look to see how many employee of the years they got. Well, you've been here 10 years and you only got employee of the year once, or you only got employee of the month once. Yeah, but that person hiring or promoting someone doesn't realize that we changed the goalposts, that we changed the who wins. They can't win more than once in 1 year. We changed that. So now this person can't get promoted. They don't look like they're the best employee, because we moved the goalposts. We changed the rules. And that's what ends up happening. And they end up leaving and they go somewhere else. And then we wonder what happened. We wonder why our production line fails. We wonder why sales aren't the same anymore. We wonder why our clients are now getting upset because they're not getting the level of communication that they're used to getting. We get upset when these things happen, right? Look at baseball. Baseball, I always go to baseball because baseball is becoming my one of my favorite sports. Basketball was always a clear one. Baseball's getting very close to number one, but basketball still has it by a little bit. But baseball, the most fair award system that they have, the Silver Slugger Awards for power hitters, RBI hitters, double hitters. They have the Gold Glove Awards for fielding, the Silver Sluggers for batting. They have MVP. They have the real MVP. The only time I think that they got it wrong was recently for the Dodgers. It was I think 2016 or 2016 or 2014. It's when Matt Kemp lost to Christian Braun from the Brewers, Milwaukee Brewers. Matt Kemp had the better stats, played better defense, but for some reason Christian Braun won. I don't not Christian Ryan Braun. Sorry, Ryan Braun won. Christian Yelich is the other Brewers player. This is Ryan Braun, but Matt Kemp lost again, and I'm thinking like I don't understand why he lost, but the MLB has such a great scoring system, and then they have a Cy Young award for pitchers. Pitchers have won MVP a couple times, but Cy Young, like that's for pitchers, specifically for pitchers who pitch every 5 to 7 days. Once every 5 to 7 days. They don't pitch every 5 to 7 days. They pitch once every 5 to 7 days. The pitcher, the Cy Young Award. Football doesn't have that. Football, I wrote some stats down. Since 1957, 40 quarterbacks have won the MVP. That's 47. Running backs, 18. Other two. And the other two, I was surprised, was Lawrence Taylor as a linebacker or defensive end, which I totally agree with. And then a kicker won in 1982 for the lockout season in 1982. 70% of the MVPs for the NFL have been quarterbacks. 70%. The quarterback is the most protected position in the NFL, besides probably the punter and the kicker and the field goal kicker. The most protected position in the NFL. They're protected at all times. I know they scramble and they get hit and they get concussions. I get it, but for the most part, they're protected, right? And yeah, someone hits you in the blind side. Someone can hurt you. I get it, but what about wide receivers? What about the lineman that gets? What about the lineman that protects them with the best and biggest defensive ends and linebackers and does not allow them to get to their quarterback? Running backs, cool, awesome, 18, that's great. Wide receivers, nothing. Defensive players besides Lawrence Taylor, what have they won? Where are the awards? Where if the NBA is already messing up with their MVP, but they get it right with their All NBA and defensive, what and and the NFL, and the MLB gets all their awards right. Where is the NFL getting their stuff from? Defensive backs, linebackers more than Lawrence Taylor, the quarterback of the defense. Why don't they win? They have Defensive Player of the Year award. I get it, but the MVP is the MVP. They have Offensive Player of the Year and Defensive Player of the Year. Where is the MVP award? Why is it for the quarterback that's just like the pitcher equivalency of the MLB? They're protected. Yes, they have a cannon, but they're not the most athletic player on the team. Tom Brady was not the most athletic player in the NFL. Was he the best player? In my opinion, yes, he's the GOAT. Patrick Mahomes to me is a lot more athletic than Tom Brady, and he's going down. He's getting up there. He's in my top five already, but he might be getting. He could. He's the only person that could probably catch Tom Brady. But that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make here is why doesn't the QB have its own award? Why doesn't it have its Joe Montana award or its Tom Brady award? Why doesn't it have its own award? Because they're protected different. Jerry Rice has zero MVPs. Zero. Do you know how many ACLs, defensive backs, wide receivers, running backs tear? He was a freak of nature. Okay. On top of that, the league was a lot rougher then, right? They get hit. If they're going down the middle on a slant, they're going to get cracked. It's happened so many times in the history of the NFL. Jerry Rice sustained his greatness for so long. Number one wide receiver. We talk about Kareem. We talk about LeBron. We talk about Brady. We talk about the pitchers that lasted till their early 40s, like the Roger Clemens, the Pedro Martinez, the Randy Johnsons, the Greg Maddux, even now with Justin Verlander, Kershaw at 38, Max Scherzer's in his 40s. We get these pitchers that last for a long period of time. And I get that. What I'm saying is, we talk about longevity, we talk about this, the goalpost, the moving, but Jerry Rice, like, where's the recognition for this guy? And you can argue, oh, well, he had Steve Young and he had Joe Montana as his quarterbacks. Okay, but you still got to get out there one on one, one on two. You're getting you're getting the ball caught, you're getting smacked, you're getting blindsided, you're getting hit head to head. He lasted so long at such a high level. Jerry Rice isn't talked about enough. And that's what I'm scared we're going to do for our employees. They're not going to be talked about enough. They're not going to be recognized enough, right? They're going to win once or twice, like De Niro. They're going to win once or twice. Oh, great, that's enough for them. De Niro hasn't, from all the great films that De Niro did from the 80s and the 90s, he didn't win anything except for Raging Bull in 81 and for The Godfather in 74 when he played Vito Corleone in The Godfather Part 2. But how many classics has De Niro been in? How many classics has he lost to? Like seriously, like classic movies that tested time. Like we don't see that. He's been. You talk about the greatest mob movies ever. De Niro's movies are in there. You talk about the greatest heist movies in there. He's in there, right? You talk about just feel good movies like Silver Linings Playbook. You know he's in there. I'm not going to get too much into that. What I'm trying to say is that we don't pay attention to what's in front of us. We don't give people their flowers until it's too late to smell them. That's the truth. And we just don't pay attention. We're too scared of what people are going to think. We're too scared that they're going to get upset, they're going to get mad, but that standard of excellence has to be there and move it from department to department. If you're scared of that. But if you're scared of one employee winning constantly and they're going to ask for a raise and they're going to want a higher commission rate, shouldn't they do that if they're landing it at an extravagant rate while other employees? I'm not a fan of paying someone for what they're supposed to be doing. I'm a fan of paying someone. I'm not a fan of paying someone more for doing what they're supposed to be doing. I'm not. However, if they're that good while everyone else is not that good, there should be something there. There should be some incentive. They should get paid. And if this person is landing that money for your company or for your department, who cares if their commission adds up to more than what your salary is? They have to earn that commission. They don't have an exempt position like you do where you can take some time off and make the same amount of money. They have to hustle for that money. And if you want to make that money and you want to hustle for that money, maybe you should be in that sales commission role. That's what we have to talk about. We have to talk about what's real, what we're really doing to our workforce. Why are we so scared to appreciate our team? Why are we so scared to appreciate the people that deserve it? So that's it. That's what I want to talk to you guys about. I wanted to make it fun. Hopefully, if you're a big movie geek like I am, you loved the Academy Awards Oscars example that I gave you. If you are an NBA basketball fan, hopefully you really liked. Hopefully you really liked my goat argument. It's Jordan all the way. And if you tell me LeBron's second, I'm not going to argue with you. I agree to a certain extent. But yeah, I just want to talk to you guys about that. I want to have some fun though, because a lot of my videos, they're about the 5 tool employee framework, which is needed. They're about stuff that I've seen in the field, some models that I've been learning, some models that I've been going after. But this one, I just wanted to have some fun. And did we do I think we did 6 or 7 videos today. Yeah, that's a lot, but I want you to have some fun. I want it to be relatable. I want you to see how even big organizations are flawed, where they're flawed, and why we're flawed the exact same way, how we can change that, how can we evolve into something better. That's what I want to talk to you guys about. I don't want you to become the Academy Awards where they're just incredible and then all of a sudden it falls off. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, it fell off because it's too woke." Like, no, it didn't. It fell off, in my opinion, in the late 2010s because it just wasn't given the right award to the right people. It became more of a recognition or a lifetime achievement award when they already have a lifetime achievement award. So they have a lifetime achievement award. I don't understand why they just keep doing that kind of stuff. There's so many great films out there. There's so many actors that have been snubbed. There's so many different organizations that snub that don't recognize the right people at the right time. And I think we need to stop doing that as a society. We have to recognize people when they deserve it. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Till the next one. Take care. Bye.